So you've decided that you want to be the best version of you and you're not attached to belonging. Congratulations. I've got about 10 minutes to get into it. The next step on your journey is being okay with getting attention. You like to be seen. You like to walk out in public and have people watch you and evaluate you and formulate their own opinions about who you are, what you do, who are you with, why are you with them, why are you not talking to them, why are you talking to them, what do you stand for, why did you make that face, how much money do you make, why do you make that much money, how do you do that, why do you do that? You ready? Yes. So when you decide that you're going to become the best version of you, you're going to become the best version of you, because once you make a decision and you get the momentum going and you release any attachment to belonging, you basically become unstoppable. Okay? You become unstoppable. Well, what that does do for you is it makes you an outlier. And as an outlier, you become the person that magnetizes attention. And when you magnetize attention, you become visible, and it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter if you have a social media account. It doesn't matter if you have a giant podcast or a small podcast. It doesn't matter how successful you've been, how much money you've made, because what you've decided to do is you've decided to become the best version of you. It's basically saying, hey, I'm going to be the most authentic, realist, honest version of me that I have ever been. And because I have released attachment to belonging, I am no longer subjected to the judgments and opinions of others influencing what I do next, what I say next, and how I think I'm feeling about myself. Which is basically the cheat code for the whole entire game. Okay. But you're looking at me and you're like, that sounds great. Where do I even start with that? Because I feel scared, right? Like, sure, I don't care if anybody likes me, but I also have resistance to walking into a restaurant, sitting down to eat dinner with my significant other and having people come up to the table and start a conversation with us mid-dinner who we don't know, right? And so here's the deal. When you decide not to belong, you get to embrace the visibility. Because now, especially if you have this impulse in the beginning, like if you have this impulse to become the best version of you, to me, anyone who has that impulse has been anointed by God to do something. Like you've been tapped on the shoulder, right? Because to choose to be an outlier in society that way and think that it's going to be like super, super easy and fun and fruitful and all of that, it really, right, it's not common. Most of the people that I've talked to who felt really excited about the fact that they stood out and actually made conscious efforts to stand out, I worked with them behind bars, honestly. They had real traits of psychopathy and sociopathy. And so that's probably not you if you're watching this video. If you're watching this video, you're probably like, hey, Katie, I feel this impulse to become the best version of me, and I am okay with not belonging. But the attention is like a lot, right? Like thinking about that on my nervous system is a lot. So here's what I want to say. When you bring this up to somebody, the chances are they will tell you, like, nobody cares. Like, nobody cares. Everybody's so worried about what they're doing in their lives. Everyone's so consumed with themselves that they're not thinking about you. And I'm here to let you know that that's not the case. Okay? Whoever is telling you that nobody cares has never been a person who is extremely magnetic in a room. Here's the distinction. People giving you attention does not equate to care, but somebody who is suggesting, right, like is asking, hey, I'm commanding the attention. When I go out, people come up to me. When I sit down to dinner, people come up to me. When I post one thing on socials, I get 5 to 10 DMs, even if I've been inactive for like 2 to 3 months. You're dealing with a different something. Okay. And anybody who tells you like nobody cares has never been there. They've had to work really hard for attention. You're probably not one of those people if you're asking this question. And so first thing is to let's not confuse care with attention. Okay. If you are here and have been anointed for something that is greater than you, then it is so important that you understand that you are a spark in the world. okay? You're a spark in the world. And I'm no human design expert, but if you have a 5-line in your profile or if you have a 2-line in your profile, this probably applies to you. And what that means is that it doesn't matter. It actually doesn't matter, like, what you do, what your profession is, how educated you are, how not educated you are, how much experience you have, if you're dressed up, if you're dressed down, if you think you look good, if you don't think you look good. Like, it actually doesn't matter for you, because wherever you go, you're the spark. And what I mean by the spark is you're the thing that makes people go, and they automatically have an experience, right? If you see something spark, imagine that, like, you're at the gas station and you see something spark, you're gonna be like, what was that? Right? It's the 4th of July, the sparklers. Why do we do sparklers? Because they're fun, they're captivating, they make you go, ooh, and they're like kind of like dangerous, right? So, like, knowing and embracing that you are the spark is important. And knowing and embracing that people are going to feel some type of way about a spark is important, because you get to create some separation there for yourself, for your own personal well being, around knowing that some people see a spark and they go, wow, I love that spark. Let's do it again. I want to see it again. And some people see a spark and they run because it's dangerous. And some people see a spark and they want to stomp it out because they're afraid. And some people see a spark and they think it's a sign of something bigger and devastating. And some people see a spark and think they're, it's going to jump on me and hurt me, right? So there are all kinds of responses to a spark. And each response is rooted in the other person, the witness's orientation to what a spark is and what a spark represents. And for some people, a spark represents celebration. For other people, a spark represents potential danger. The spark is the spark in either scenario, in any scenario, right? So if you are the spark, then you go, okay, how do I handle this attention? And for me to say back to you that nobody cares is not, I feel like it's not technically gaslighting you, but it is, the flavor of it is a little gaslighty, because it can feel a little overwhelming when you are the topic of conversation for people who don't even speak to you. Haven't spoken. They just don't. They just haven't spoken to you. And it's confusing, right? And it's also a place that's not productive for your thought. So here's the way that I offer to deal with this. If you are becoming your best self and you are no longer attached to belonging, and that means your authenticity has increased, and that means that your magnetism has increased. If you are magnetic, you will receive attention. That doesn't always mean it's attention that feels really good. Sometimes it's attention that feels confusing. Sometimes it's attention that feels like it needs to be, set a boundary there. So what you're going to do is you're going to start to regulate yourself to attention. And you're going to start to get very clear about how you conceptualize attention, and make sure that you are not confusing it with care, making sure that you're not confusing it with love, making sure that you are understanding that this person is having an experience of their own as a result of my existence. It has nothing to do with anything other than the fact that I exist. They're finding themselves. They're finding their way. They might find more fear. They might find more love. They might find more inspiration. They might find more clarity. But what they're doing is they are finding themselves. This has nothing to do with me. Now, I will say that this is different when it's somebody who's very, very close to you. Okay, so if this is like your significant other who's known you for 5 years and they're coming back and they're like, hey, I've got feedback for you. Are you open to it? You can be like, yeah, I am open to it, because you've known me. You know who I am. We've had deep conversations. You're not a watcher. I call the people like they're watchers, right? They know you, they observe you. They probably feel some kind of affinity to you, but maybe they can't really tell what it is. I mean, 90% of human behavior is subconscious. So you can say that most people are walking around not having any real clue about why they do what they do or what's underneath all of it. So this is for you. This is for you to make sure that you are not confusing attention for care, and to make sure that you are understanding that the people who are paying you attention can be treated with grace, with respect, and with boundaries if they need to be, and that's okay, because how they are moving with you is not about you, it's about them and how they are experiencing and making meaning of what your existence activates inside of them. Go forward, keep being open. I love you so much. Talk to you soon.